Patty Peace and Frank Figluzzi. And Frank, again, a nation turns its lonely eyes to you. We have some really good people among our viewership. They work hard, play by the rules, love their country. When they go to vote, just the once, unless they're caucus goers in Iowa or Nevada, they like to think that's going to count, that there won't be any shenanigans. They like to think that is their act and theirs alone. Who do they see about this news we are repeating tonight and how overwhelming and depressing it is?
Clearly, the answers are not going to come from Washington on this and from this administration. The intel agencies are going to do everything they can, but they have handcuffs on because of this administration. So it has to come, the solutions have to come locally, Brian. What I tell people when I speak to them in groups or one-on-one is you need to demand answers from your local registrar of voters, your state, county, municipal registrar of voters. Are there going to be paper backups or not? Are we relying entirely on 4 private companies that make all the machinery for voting in this country, with one company holding a 60% market share of all voting equipment? We need paper backup. Those private companies that make that equipment, you know what they tell you when you buy their equipment? We have great stuff, but you should really use a paper backup. So demand answers and get the answers you need. Call your elected representatives, write them. The answers are going to come locally on this. But you know what? We're on notice now. After 9/11, we had a terrible terrorism attack and tragedy, and it was a whole of government approach. We instituted an entire agency, DHS. We had a color-coded system to warn us of the threat risk that was coming. We're at that high threat risk right now, but we don't have that whole of government approach. It has to happen with us and at the local level.
That's useful, Frank, and thank you. Peter Baker, Mr. Figluzzi says nothing casually, and he just dismissed all of Washington, D.C. as a possible solution in this. Let's think about the kind of centrist national security, as we used to call them, Republicans, like Blunt, like Portman, like Collins. Are you expecting anything from them? Will tonight be any different for them, having read this journalism, than yesterday was, than tomorrow will be?
Well, that's a great question. Look, you know, the Republicans, of course, have been in this very awkward position in which their traditional skepticism of Russia, something that has been a foundation of the party going back decades, has been challenged by the leader of their party. The leader of their party, of course, has spoken of Putin in very friendly terms and never challenged him in a personal way whenever the two of them are together. Now, President Trump will tell you he has a very tough policy on Russia, and it is true that the administration has taken a number of actions that would be considered to be tough on Russia, including sanctions, including expelling diplomats and so forth, arming the Ukrainians. But the message comes from the top, and the top has always said, this president has always said, that he wants to be friends with Vladimir Putin, and he has always found ways of giving Vladimir Putin the greatest credit